The showers have wrapped up for now, but could we see some rain continue into your Labor Day weekend? We'll track it out with Future Track in the full forecast.
Millions of Americans are ending the summer with one final holiday vacation. The communication issues plaguing some airports, though, across the nation. Plus, he is in Wisconsin. Micah Parsons talks to the media for the first time in Green Bay. How his jersey number says it all about what he expects of himself. It's all ahead. News Read now at 10. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Sarah is off tonight, but first tonight at 10, we are bringing you breaking news in the retrial of Devontae Gafford, one of the men accused of the killing of 20-year-old Devon Grant at the Harmony Apartments back in 2023. Tonight, a jury found Gafford guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as party to a crime and first-degree recklessly endangering safety as party to a crime. The verdict concludes his retrial. Back in 2024, jurors deadlocked on the counts of homicide and recklessly endangering safety, and a mistrial was declared. Sentencing in the case has not been set. It's been a rainy end of the work week, but how long will these showers stick around? Meteorologist Blaze Keller now with the answer.
And we are looking at that chance for showers to stick around into at least the start of Saturday. Also, we're going to be dealing with some fog, patchy fog developing off into southern parts of Grant County, but we're expecting a lot more of that fog to develop in, say, Juneau, as well as Adams, Waushara, Green Lake, and Marquette counties, maybe bleeding over to parts of Monroe, Vernon, Richland, Sauk County, Crawford County. You're kind of getting the picture there. Further north and especially further north and west. We do have a little shower just making its way just outside of Janesville, right along 14, scooting just between us and Evansville, as well as in Footville, staying to the east of Magnolia. This is really our last shower of this evening. We had a lot more rain moving through the area earlier this afternoon that has since tapered off, but we'll still keep the chance for an isolated shower as we head overnight. Future Track keeping the clouds and the fog around throughout the morning hours, but by the afternoon, we are seeing more sunshine. So don't be fooled if it starts off cloudy tomorrow. We will see more sun as we go throughout your Saturday. Temperatures a little bit cooler than where they should be for this time of year, but we are back into those mid to upper 70s, maybe a few low 80s by Labor Day. Changes arrive next week. We're tracking that out and what changes could come in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Americans are enjoying the last moments of summer this Labor Day weekend. The TSA expects nearly 17.5 million people to go through checkpoints through Wednesday. As Chris Van Cleve reports, though, it comes amid another air traffic control communications issue.
It happened again, a communications outage impacting Newark Airport Thursday, just as the Labor Day weekend travel push ramped up.
The comm or the ILS frequencies that are unreliable?
It's our comm. It's, same old here. Frequencies are no good. There's parts missing.
The FAA says it's investigating this latest episode at the same Philadelphia area air traffic control facility that experienced major outages earlier this year. Thursday's outage happening despite the installation of newly upgraded communications lines, resulting in hundreds of delays.
It was a little disappointing, but I think 30 minutes isn't as bad as it could be, as we've experienced this summer.
Wednesday, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy promised additional air traffic control upgrades.
By the time we get to next summer, there's going to be some noticeable changes and improvements in the airspace.
American and United Airlines expect to fly about 7 million passengers this weekend. The FAA is forecasting the busiest Labor Day in 15 years. The Kittle family is hoping to beat the crowd leaving Washington, D.C.
Yeah, definitely nervous. We didn't know what to expect with the holiday. We thought it might be really busy, so we got here a little bit early.
According to AAA, domestic round-trip flights are 6% cheaper than last year, averaging $720 a ticket. U.S. hotel rates are down 11%, and car rentals dropped 3%. Most Americans will drive, finding gas prices on average about 15 cents a gallon cheaper. Welcome news for Sarah Rowland's road trip through Oregon.
Trying to escape the Nashville heat. We thought Labor Day weekend would be nice here.
The FAA is watching for potential delays in places like Boston, across Texas, Florida, Denver, and San Francisco. Here in Newark, so far so good.
Chris Van Cleve reporting there. We have an update on the suspicious death investigation in Dane County. The sheriff's office now investigating the incident as a homicide. It was last night when Dane County deputies were called to Dunlap Hollow Road. That's just northwest of Maizomanie after a 70-year-old man failed to show up for dinner with loved ones. There, they found him dead. His vehicle, a Hyundai, was not at the home. This morning, police in Marinette, a city north of Green Bay near Peshtigo, spotted that Hyundai, and that led to a high-speed chase. The vehicle eventually crashed. The driver got out. Police used a taser, but it didn't work to stop him, so that led to officers firing their weapons, killing the driver. Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett released a video addressing the homicide investigation.
Such a grossly unjust and outrageous homicide that it truly just shocks the conscience and does not represent the values of the town of Mazomanie community nor our Dane County community.
Now the DOJ's Division of Criminal Investigation will lead the investigation into the officer-involved shooting. Today we're hearing from the families of the two children who were killed in this week's shooting at a Minneapolis Catholic school. The family of Harper Moisky said she was a, quote, bright, joyful, and deeply loved 10-year-old whose spirit touched everyone who knew her. While Jesse Merkel, the father of 8-year-old Fletcher, is asking the world to remember his little boy as the person he was, not the act that ended his life.
Fletcher loved his family, friends, fishing, cooking, and any sport that he was allowed to play. Give your kids an extra hug and kiss today. We love you, Fletcher. You'll always be with us.
Investigators are pouring through the shooter's life, including questioning his family and looking through hundreds of journal pages filled with disturbing messages. Minneapolis has partnered as well with dozens of agencies to add extra patrols around schools and places of worship. Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Rebecca Bradley says she will not seek re-election. Justice Bradley, part of the court's conservative minority. The decision opens a wide field for April's Supreme Court race. Judge Chris Taylor, a liberal, announced in May she would be running as a challenger to Bradley. In a statement released today, Justice Bradley said conservatives need to address why they've come up short in recent elections. Quote, I believe the best path for me to rebuild the conservative movement and fight for liberty is not as a minority member of the court, end quote. Conservative candidates have lost the last 3 Supreme Court races. Justice Bradley's term will expire July 31st of next year. And ahead at 10, Blaze tells us if we'll see any rain additionally through the Labor Day weekend. Plus, Micah Parsons in Wisconsin tonight, and Jason Wilde reports from Titletown, and you'll like how Parsons reacts to comparisons with Reggie White. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10, moving forward.
The Badger game wasn't the only big sports story in Wisconsin yesterday. Micah Parsons being traded to the Packers from Dallas, the other big one, and today he touched down here in Wisconsin. Our Packers senior writer Jason Wilde has more details.
One of the first things Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said to us tonight as the team introduced its prized new edge rusher, Micah Parsons, to the media, was that this is not about comparing Micah Parsons to Reggie White, the transformative free agent that this organization signed in 1993, who not only helped lead the team to a Super Bowl title a few years later, but also transformed the way this team and this organization were viewed in the NFL. He's his own man, is what Brian Gutekunst told us about Micah Parsons. But interestingly enough, Micah Parsons didn't shy away from that comparison one bit.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Reggie is like one of the GOATs. I mean, I'm just looking at his stats, and the fact he had like 70 sacks in like 5 years is just like outrageous to me. And this guy's just like this freak, and you know, I didn't even know. I just learned more history about him today, just about how he's the first free agent and how he came here and won championships. And yeah, people make the comparisons, but you know, I just looked at him like somebody who won. He came here. He can do that. I think I can do that too. I think I can do anything I put my mind to. I looked on that wall and I saw Brett Favre. I saw Reggie. I saw all those legends. And I was like, I got to be there. And, you know, you go near the draft room and they're all having their hands up and they having that moment. I'm looking for that moment. And, you know, I'm going to take advantage of this moment and maximize it to reach that moment.
Micah Parsons will begin his journey toward that wall of legends a week from Sunday when the Packers will play host to the Detroit Lions right here at Lambeau Field and right here on Channel 3. And he made it very clear tonight he will play in that game. He said, they didn't give up what they gave up to get me for me to sit on the sidelines. At Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
All good to hear. Jason, thank you. And to stay up to date on all the latest Packer news, you can sign up for Jason Wilde's free Packers newsletter. Find it through channel3000.com. All right, on to weather. Cool and rainy out there tonight. Now we have to know. We got a 3-day weekend, Blaze. We need some sun and warm. We're going to get it?
Yes, it is going to arrive, especially Sunday into Labor Day. Saturday, it's going to be a slow getting there. We're going to start off with some fog, maybe some lingering rain from overnight, especially further south and west. But as we go throughout Saturday, we see more sunshine, and that sticks around into Sunday. And then on your Labor Day, our winds turn out of the southeast, so that's going to really help warm us up even further, possibly flirting with those 80s. And it's all before some big changes arrive. We're starting to get into the point of the year where we're saying goodbye to summer and we're easing into winter. And so we kind of get more of these dynamic systems capitalizing or using the warm air to our south and that incoming cooler air to our north. And that's what this system is going to be doing as we go Tuesday onwards. Into Wednesday, we're going to be watching the cold front pass. So we may see a few thunderstorms, shouldn't be severe, as well as some rain and breezy conditions. And this low pressure system gets cut off from the jet stream, so it's going to linger over the Midwest for another day or so. By about Friday, it should start to move eastward, so that means that we could continue to see that chance for some showers as we go into Thursday night into Friday, possibly lingering into Friday night. Additionally, because we're going to be going from a warmer temperature to a slightly cooler one, we're going to be dealing with some strong wind gusts. Some of those gusts could be upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour on Thursday, and possibly even stronger waking up Friday morning. Gusts could be upwards of 40, 45 miles per hour. When we move a cooler air mass into a place that was once warm and moist, we get breezy conditions. That's kind of a byproduct of changing air masses, a change in temperature. So when it's really windy, you could probably guess that we went from either being warm to super cool, or we're going from super cool to warming up. And because we are going to be dealing with some strong wind gusts here, I didn't think I'd have to be talking about wind chill this early, but it could feel like 35 degrees up there in Rhinelander, 38 in the Wisconsin Rapids, low 40s here across central and southern Wisconsin. We might even feel like we're in the upper 30s waking up on Friday. So again, we're starting to get to that point in the year where these systems are going to be pulling down some cooler air, but it really doesn't last that long. It's a brief little cool down, and then we warm back up. So take a look at how much cooler than normal it's expected to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as well as Saturday. About 10 to 15, maybe 20 degrees cooler than where we should be for this time of year. So if you're not ready for this kind of late fall feeling, enjoy the sunshine and the 70s and maybe 80s while they're here. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Tuesday, we should remain dry through most of the day, but then overnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, that's when that system moves on through. If it moves out of here by Friday, that means we're back into the 60s and drying out for the upcoming, for that first weekend, I should say, of September. Mid-60s Saturday, low 70s by Sunday. So it looks like we really did luck out, all things considered, on this Labor Day weekend.
And welcome to week 2 of the final drive. I'm Jalen Banks. Andrew's off for the evening. We start with our game of the week, a Big 8 battle between Waunakee and Memorial, a rematch of 2024's biggest stunners. Last year, Memorial beat Waunakee by 2 touchdowns. And on that same night, they honored the legendary coach, Pat Rice. Week 2 gives the Warriors a chance to get their get back, and the Spartans a shot at 2 straight. But the Warriors would have something to say about that. Early in the first, Warriors already up 7. Little play action here. Quarterback with a floater for the touchdown. Warriors go up 14-0. Then later in the second quarter, Warriors up 21-0. A little bit of celebration here. Warriors up 21-0 in the second quarter. Handoff up the middle, and the running back bounces it outside, and they would not be able to catch him. Memorial goes on to win it in dominating fashion, 35-0. Moving to McFarland, where it was a tale of 2 stories. In week 1 for the Crusaders and the Spartans, Edgewood edged out New Berlin Eisenhower last week, while McFarland got rocked by Reedsburg. The Spartans look to get their first win of the season, while Edgewood looks to go for a 2-0 start. First quarter, quarterback drops back for McFarland, and he puts the ball where the kids can't reach it. McFarland goes up on the board, but the Crusaders would have something to say about that later. Jet sweep around the edge. and he would turn on the Jets for this 20-yard score. Crusaders pull away and win 33-22. Turning to two teams that have championship aspirations in 2025 that were hampered in week 1. Monroe lost at the hands of Lodi last week, while Mount Horeb Barneveld got bested by Grafton. For teams like these, going 0-2 is not an option, but tonight that would be the case for one of the two. Mount Horeb Vikings came out of the tunnel swinging tonight. An early fumble by the Cheesemakers paid dividends, setting up an easy rushing touchdown for Eli Meyer. But Monroe kept the fight alive with a rushing touchdown of their own by Tristan Anderson. However, Mount Horeb quarterback Brooks Hendrickson found a stride early in the second, finding Django Christian for the score. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. He rolls out, floats that one to the left, and boom! That's where you would find Django Christensen. Monroe would win big over Monroe, 26-6. And still to come in sports, the Badgers take home their win in their season opener against Miami of Ohio. We'll detail the differences seen in the team's offense and defense during their first game. Last night, Wisconsin football got their first win of the season under their belts. They beat Miami of Ohio under the lights at Camp Randall in a game, and sports director Andrew Bantris says was a tale of two stories.
All offseason long, Wisconsin football said the same thing, that things would be different in Luke Fickell's third year. In some ways, they were different in the season opener. The defense pitched a shutout, but the offense, it kind of looked like the air raid of the past, flat. The Badgers won 17-0 under the lights at Camp Randall. And it's hard to put too much blame on that offense. For the third year in a row, Wisconsin lost their starting quarterback due to injury, this time in the season opener, less than 20 minutes into the game.
I can honestly say that, no, that was by far the furthest thing that I was expecting or hoping. Obviously wouldn't hope, but to have any type of adversity like that. And so, you know, more than anything, you just had to kind of keep a straight face and don't show any emotions of any sorts. And I thought our guys did a really good job of that.
It just felt like a repeat, like the last 3 years, something like that. Yeah, it just seems like a QB curse kind of thing. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. But I think Billy will be fine. I'll talk to him. He'll be good. But it's just like, it's actually kind of crazy.
But let's get back to that defense. They pitched a shutout and did all the things that, frankly, they couldn't do last year. They created turnovers. Preston Zachman had 2 interceptions in the second half, and there was a whole lot of tackles for loss, especially sacks.
That's where the defensive front did a really good job tonight. And then what can you say about Preston Zachman? I think that, a guy in his 6th year, it's, sometimes it's tough to say, well, he's gotten a lot better. But I really, his confidence level, from what I've seen all through fall camp, showed in tonight.
I don't know if I've ever had 2 in a game, but, I mean, it's obviously a good feeling. But once again, it's a credit to the guys up front, pressuring the quarterback, making him make bad decisions. So it's all credit to them.
Sure, things could have gone better in the season opener, but an offensive lineman, Joe Brunner, put it perfectly, saying a win is a win. The Badgers are on to Middle Tennessee State next week with a 1-0 record. At Camp Randall Stadium, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Sports.
A massive series in Toronto for the Brewers, putting their best record in baseball up against the second best record in baseball, the Blue Jays. And they got 6 scoreless innings from Freddie Peralta, who held the Jays to just 1 hit. And the offense shows up in the 6th. Andrew Monasterio with a solo shot gets Milwaukee on the board. That was just the first of 5 runs in the 6th. The last of those runs came in on this 2-out double by Isaac Collins. Milwaukee wins Game 1 of the battle of the best records in the league. 7-2 is the final. Wisconsin volleyball saw a bigger roster shakeup this offseason than they've seen in quite a long time, with a large, legendary senior class graduating. The one thing that stayed the same is their stature. The Badgers are the nation's 8th-ranked team, hosting number 14 Kansas at the Kohl Center, kicking off their 2025 season. Badgers serving for the set point in the first game. The ball skips off the net and the Jayhawks can't return it. Badgers take the first set. Then we head to the 5th set. Jayhawks serve and the Badgers were able to return it. Give us one moment here. My apologies. Now to the 5th set. Jayhawks serving here, and the Badgers were able to return it, and the Badgers would take the set in 5. Badgers go on to beat the 14th ranked Jayhawks 3-2 in 5 sets.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10. Moving forward.
All right, guys, this is a huge story. Listen up. This is some New Zealand news here. A nationwide effort in New Zealand to help a lonely garden snail find love. They really don't have any problems down in New Zealand. A woman found this snail, which is named Ned, while digging in her garden. Notice something unusual. Ned's shell spirals left, while almost all other snails have right spiraling shells. Learn something new every day. Turns out Ned has a rare genetic condition that affects only 1 in 40,000 snails. This means its reproductive organs don't line up with most others. The snail is now being kept safe in a fish tank, while a call has been put out all across the country of New Zealand. They are looking to find a compatible match for love for Ned. He's a good-looking snail. We don't see snails like that around here. They're always like slugs, just nasty. They don't have the cool shell with them, right? They don't have any problems in New Zealand.
Do taxpayer dollars go towards this?
Yeah, it's millions. It's costing them millions to... I don't know.
Who's making this,
I don't know.
this effort?
I think New Zealand sounds like a great place. They don't have any problems. You think that was the lead story on the news in Auckland tonight?
Maybe.
Ned?
But like New Zealand, that's where Power Rangers takes place. So I mean, they fight Zords and stuff all the time. So outside of their snail problems.
New Zealand sounds
I was
awesome.
like, where are we going with this? I have no comment.
Because looking for love for a snail in New Zealand.
Hey, I hope they find him love.
Let's move on to the forecast.
We'll do a follow-up when they do, though.
We don't, you know, this is the last hurrah for summer. There are people taking trips. There's people want to be out on the water, but we've got a lot of water coming from the sky tonight.
Yeah, we got some showers tonight. That'll continue into the start of Saturday, especially further south and west. But by the afternoon, we should be seeing more sunshine. Winds are going to stay light throughout the weekend. So if you're going to be heading out on the water, if you're just going to be outside enjoying these nice temperatures, it's not going to be windy. That will change as we head into the middle of next week. Tuesday night through Friday, we're going to be dealing with a big old system that's going to bring down some cool temperatures, especially Wednesday and Thursday night. Could feel like the upper 30s waking up Friday.
We're going to winter. Remember fall last year? I think it was on a Thursday. Well, thanks for watching News 3 Now at 10, folks. Colbert's next. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 5. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. Have a great weekend.